Hello, this is Uncle Jim. I need to do an emergency wet tumbling today. So I have some 44 Russian, 44 Special, which I need to cut to Russian, and some 308 I need to reload. Over here I have some 300 Blackout and some 223 that I need to load. And usually I don't mix calibers, but in this case, I separate them so they don't stick inside each other. And while I'm at it, I'm going to do my suppressor baffles, the 45, the 22, and a 9mm. These are heat-treated stainless steel, so you can tumble them. You can also use a sonic cleaner, which you can't do with aluminum and titanium. And I have these trimmings here. I thought I'd make something out of them, so I'm going to throw them in with the baffles. Hopefully nothing sticks together. Now when you got dry pins, these are really easy to pour dry pins in. And then once they're wet, they sink to the bottom and you just pour the water out. I'll show you that. It's really icy out there, so I got to make sure I don't slip. I'm using a garden hose. You'll see the setup. 2 tumblers, 1 and done, because I need to cast some soft bullets. So, doing 3 things at once, but we'll get the tumblers going. Okay, so I use the Frankfurt Arsenal enclosed spinner, so all the pins fall to the bottom. And this time I had the baffles for the suppressors in there, so no Lemmy shine. I just wanted to get them semi-clean. Now I have a homemade small tumbler for these, but they're looking pretty good. 22's a little grody still. 45 was really dirty, and you can imagine how dirty this water is. So this is the first kind of tumble, get the dirty water out. Then I might throw, these look fine. I might throw them in the mini tumbler, and then we'll put some lemon shine and let these run for another 20 minutes separately. All right. Luckily I got a garden hose. I have 2 garden hose spigots inside the garage, so I can do this during winter time, and it's the only way to go. Okay, I put a ton of pins in here for the baffles on the can, and I made the mistake of putting the rings in too, and these little guys went through the strainer. A lot of people struggle with pins. I don't know why. Dump it in. Put the cover on, spin slowly, and it'll all fall in the dirty water. All right? And then you can just leave them in there, give them a second rinse. And then on the final rinse, I spray a little car wash and wax, and that kind of protects your brass. But anyway, all you gotta do with the pins is, the pins are heavy, it's like gold. So just pour it out like this. All right, get it in the corner. Hopefully we're on camera. And this is the second rinse because that first water was black from the suppressors. And you can rinse your pins, they're not going anywhere. Get them down in the corner there. You see, you're not losing any. No pins to be lost. Then you can use the corner to pour them back in the thing if you're doing more. If not, pour it in a pan and let them dry out. Now I got to pick all these brass rings out or leave them. They're good scrubbers. All right. All right, so since these were dirty because they were mixed in with the suppressor stuff, these come in really handy. You can get them at Harbor Freight. Okay, let's see how these turned out. All right. All right, so dirty water and all, I make sure I fill it up to the line here. And the reason I pour the dirty water in here is because it will get the pins and save a step. It's no big deal. Then we turn it slow. All right, and then go this way some. All right, and I'll spare you the noise, but just turn them slow. Pins will float to the bottom. And then we dump the dirty water, give it another rinse. And then I give it one more with a little wash and wax sprayed on top of the water, and it collects to the brass. Okay, this is our normal procedure here. That's the dirty water. We just set that here. Don't worry about the foam not being able to see the pins. They're gonna stay at the bottom. Then you can do this. Get rid of your foam so you can see what's going on. All right. See how dirty the water is? That's regular brass, no cans. And I can see every pin. No pins were harmed. Okay, now I'll give it another rinse, and if there's any pins left in the brass, it'll come out then. So that's first, dirty water. Second will be clean water. I'll fill it up, spin it again. Okay, our first clean rinse. You can see the water is clean. So that's the first clean rinse. The first one was dirty. Just get rid of the pins. And there's no reason to worry about dirty on the first because you're just spinning out the pins anyway. And I leave the pins in here. By the time I do the final rinse with a little spray and wax, all the pins will be gone. And then we do a dry spin real fast, and it dries them out, and then put them in a pan to dry. Okay, so this really is just the second rinse. The first was dirty. A little spray wax on top of the water, and that'll stick to the brass. If you're putting it for longer storage, it kind of preserves it a little. Then we'll put her on, spin it, empty the water, and dry spin it, and we're done. So it's pretty fast. Okay, this was the batch that I mixed in with the suppressor baffles, which I normally wouldn't do. So I had to tumble rinse them real quick. Now, if you have hard water and it leaves spots, you can get some distilled water and just pour it over here on the last and spin them dry, and that'll take care of your spots. So the homemade tumbler, I do a half hour. On the Frankfurt, I do 90 minutes. Seems to be about the same in those time periods. And so here we go. That's good enough for me. I don't need show brass. I just need reloading brass. Okay, second rinse. Water is drained. Pins are still in there because I have another batch I'm going to dump. And then at the very end, all the pins go into a pan. So I'm going to dry spin this, get most of the water off, put them in a pan. You can use aluminum pan if you want to use a magnet to make sure there's no pins, but the pins are gone. They're at the bottom. And then summertime, I'll set them in the sun. Wintertime, I put them on top of my furnace. Next morning, everything's done. Summertime, they're hot to the touch within an hour or so. So I'm going to do both because we have sun, even though it's wintertime, and then put them on the furnace and load them tomorrow. Okay, the one batch is drying in the sun, then it'll go on the furnace. I shake it now and then. Meanwhile, the suppressor baffles are in the powder coat oven in a pan. I put it on warm, then just turned it off. They'll be dry real soon. Okay, to save wasted time, I cleaned out my pot because I'm going to do soft lead in the next few videos with the hollow pointer and try and get a 44 Russian to mushroom. So notice this one right here. It's got a blue hue to it. I use these for slugs. It's super soft. I think that came off of diver weights at the thrift store. And this stuff is pretty soft. So I had to get rid of what was in the pot. And so I poured most of it out into ingots and then turned it off and then dumped it into ingots. And I'm an avid scraper and fluxer, and there was still gunk down in here, like a powdery gray dust. So scraped that out, tamped it down, got rid of that. All right, so yeah, we're going to do some hollow pointer soft points for different calibers, and then I'll pour the other lead back in when I'm low. All right. Okay, so my wife found this Frankfurt Arsenal brand new in the box from a local guy that wasn't gonna use it. And we got it for 50 bucks, so that was worth it. However, the pins that come with the kit, they can stick in your cases, and I made the mistake of mixing my good pins with the Frankfurt pins, and now they're all cobbled together, so I'm just gonna stick it out. I think Thorzax was talking about it in a live chat when I brought it up, and he said he did the same thing, mixed the pins, and just threw them all out. Didn't want to deal with it, started over. I'm gonna stick it out, but there you go. There's something else there. Okay, as far as the tumblers go, in comparison, the homemade one is super quiet in the motor. All you hear is the shifting of the pins and brass. It's got more aggressive flaps. The Frankfurt Arsenal large tumbler got a noisier motor, so it's pretty loud. And then the end caps can leak, so you got to put soap on the gasket and tighten them down really good. As a matter of fact, I only open one side because whenever you screw with them, they can leak on you. And they should come with a wrench. I guess you have to buy it or 3D print one. All I do is use this clamp here to get in between the fins and turn it that way. So that's what I do. They both work pretty good. The homemade is faster because it has more aggressive flaps in here. And then there's the mini tumbler. If I want to do a small batch real quick, I'll put it on here. You guys have seen this before. This is mostly stuff out of the garage. IBM motor from the 70s. The belt is for vacuums. You can get a 2-pack for like under $4 and they last forever. Wheel bearings, welded up some, whatever that was, a bed, I don't know, some scrap metal. What is that, 5/16 rod. They weren't keyed, so we just put pins on the side to retain it. The wheel bearing, rubber hose for traction, and then adjustable discs for what size tumbler you want to use. You just move it around, it's all friction, it works. I've used this forever. As a matter of fact, it was from the old house. And if you make these, you just need PVC glue. It'll never come off. All right. And then the cap there, I just use a cordless screwdriver for quick on and off on the clamp there. As a matter of fact, this one's faster than this sometimes. You gotta mess with it. I like them both. The Frankfurt has a timer, so I use that timer for both. Otherwise, use your phone for a timer. I guess that's it. I got a lot done today, and hope you found this interesting. Thanks for watching. Until next time.